So guys, according to this headline, Tinubu heavily inflated Lagos Calabar highway cost to satisfy his son and Chagori's interest, not the interest of Nigerians. This is what article is saying, that he inflated the price. We know that they said this project is going to cost about 15 trillion naira. So assuming this project was meant to cost like 3 trillion, 5 trillion, they now escalated the price to 15 trillion because, Tinubu's son is a board member of this company, and Tinubu is a very strong stakeholder in this company, and this company is said to belong to a Lebanese man. Nigerians, this is worrisome. When we tell people that Tinubu, the same way Tinubu owns Lagos, that is how he will try to buy Nigeria before his presidency ends. People think it is an overstatement, but you can see it already happening. Anyway, let me allow you listen to how Arise Television has reacted to this. So guys, Dr. Abati spoke as if he's in support of Tinubu and his son. But I tell you, Ayo took a very positive stand, which is pro-Nigerians. Take a look at this.
Let's be fair. Sheyi Tinubu, the son of the president, is a legal personality unto himself. He can have his own business commitments. He can be on any board. He also has rights under the Constitution to the extent that he can do business. He's a free citizen. If he's on the board of CDK that produces ceramic tiles and sanitary towels, I don't see why anybody should have any problem with that. Okay? So he can have his own engagements different from what his father does. I don't see how he's being on the board of CDK interferes with government work. That would be, a stretch. That would be, imagining things on the surface of it as a principle. However, I think that, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar raised a number of allegations. If he wants to accuse President Tinubu, let him focus on President Tinubu. He had previously said that the Shaguris, they are business partners to President Tinubu. So let him hold President Tinubu responsible. Let him not stretch it to the son in this particular instance. Now, Betty raised a number of issues. He says the award of the contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway did not go through competitive bidding. He said, too, that it was meant to be a build, operate, and transfer project, but that now, all of a sudden, the federal government has made money available for it. Those are issues that we can talk about. 3, he said that High Tech, that is the company that is in charge, doesn't have a record of performance. It's not for him to decide that. The people who are awarding the contracts, who are in government, they decide. 3, there has been so much talk about the redesign, the rerouting of the project. Yes, it was originally supposed to go through Water Corporation Drive, and now it's been shifted in another direction. I think, former Governor David Umahi, now Minister of Works, he has tried to offer an explanation in that regard. Number 5, the point to note is that what we should be interested in is this project in public interest? If it is in public interest, if it's a legacy project, then of course we can't argue about it. Now, one of the things he said is that the environmental impact assessment has not been completed, so the project is rushed. Okay, I think there was a story front page over the weekend that in fact, approval had been given. For preliminary approval had been given. I don't imagine that preliminary approval will be cooked up. Maybe there has been some assessment. But what I find interesting in it is that the federal government is paying compensation to the people who are affected. Last week, 27.5 billion was paid to 10 businesses affected along that route. I will consider that to be consistent with my earlier argument on this program that, look, they should do things with human feeling, with human face, and not just cause unnecessary havoc. There have been arguments about how this will affect tourism and all of that. Well, perhaps if they complete that Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, maybe there will be bigger opportunities even for tourism. But with all the controversy that has surrounded this, I think President Tinubu, it must be clear to him that this is a project that he must complete. It will not be enough to just demolish structures, make big fanfare out of this project, and not complete it. So if it's a priority to his administration, even the people whose structures have been affected would like to see and say, okay, we made the sacrifice, we got compensated. But to leave it as an abandoned white elephant project, no, that would be a scandal. And we'll be here to remind everybody that this is a big scandal, because demolition for demolition's sake will be insensitive. Finally, the other point that I think that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar made is that the Tinubu administration should pay attention to the ease of doing business. That's an intelligent point. You can't argue with that. Another point that Vice President Atiku Abubakar made that I think would be a big takeaway would be his point that, look, pay less attention to propaganda about FDI. The president travels, we have not even seen him. He left Saudi Arabia 6 days ago. Where is he, by the way? You know, so Atiku Abubakar is saying, pay less attention to propaganda, let us see results. Those are legitimate points that he can make. But as to drag the son into the matter, no, please. Leave issues that are not relevant, leave them aside. In this particular case, that's the way I see it.
All right, so the thrust of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's message was putting personal interest above public good. And in saying this, he had cited the fact that the president's son, Tinubu, was a board member of one of the businesses run by the founders of high-tech contractors who were given the contracts to manage the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. If you recall, when the Minister of Works was here, we had actually challenged or asked him the question around the bidding process of awarding this contract, if due process was followed. And he had said that having looked at the quality of work that high-tech had done in the past and looking at the capacity of other companies in such areas of expertise, they felt it was best to have given high-tech without perhaps a proper bidding process. According to a Business Day report today, they actually highlighted that a source from the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, had actually said that this particular contract didn't go through due process. In fact, what had happened was that they received a letter from the president to award the contract, and it goes against the normal procedure for awarding of contracts. Let me just share with you in terms of what the process ought to have been and what the process then ended up being. I'm saying this for a purpose, because when we look at the scrutiny on this Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the fact that Atiku Abubakar came out with the assertion that the president's son is on the board of one of the companies is not standalone. It is part of a wider concern around this particular contract. And that's why when you wonder and you ask questions around, okay, why wasn't due process followed? Why the hurry, the conversation around EIA? It sounds fishy, it looks fishy, and then this then provokes more investigations, and then more investigations brings up more revelations. So the fact that Tinubu is not on the board of high-tech on itself and is on CDK is part of a wider conversation around there's something not quite right about the process. And so that's why I feel there's some merit to what former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has said. Let me share with you what the process under normal circumstances should have been. It ought to have gone through a proper bid process, and after a certificate of no objection by the BPP, the evaluation report should have been sent to the Federal Executive Council for approval before the award. But what they saw was a letter from the presidency informing the BPP that the contract was awarded to the company, which the BPP DG simply approved. So there are questions around the approval process, and so you begin to wonder. That's how investigations are provoked when there's something not quite right about something. They begin to dig deeper, and of course, from digging, there might be revelations that would come out. And so this assertion that the president's son, whom has, obviously we all know how he's been closely linked to the president's campaign, his business interests, was there perhaps some influencing? Why is there a need? There's no conversation around whether or not this coastal highway is important. We have established that fact. But another thing that was raised by the former vice president was that they could have given the businesses more notice. Why would we jeopardize attracting foreign direct investment by our actions because of a particular contract? So these are big questions that have not been answered, I must say, by this administration, by the Minister of Work sufficiently to douse suspicions from the Nigerian people. So I do believe this is not a closed subject at all. There will be more conversations. We're looking forward to seeing the report, the EIA report, in full, in detail, to ensure that due process was indeed done, following the fact that BPP has said it didn't go through the normal process that contracts of this nature, of this amount, ought to have gone through in Nigeria. Move on to our next story this morning. In an effort to revolutionize banking services, the Alternative Bank has been launched, which aims to transform traditional banking services by streamlining them into compact hubs or boxes.
So, guys, you have seen it for yourself that these people, they don't mean well for us. So you are waiting for them for Nigeria to work. You are wasting your time because they are there for their own interest. They don't care about the suffering masses. You can imagine this kind of amount of money when Nigeria is broke. Majority of our income is used to service debt. And we are even looking for more borrowings to come in. Oil theft is making us not to generate enough. And so many challenges. And Tinubu is embarking on this project. And if Peter Obi speaks and advises them, they will say he should be arrested. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.